Good day! Today, we're going to tell you about the first Mass in the Philippines by Francisco Albo and Antonio Pigafetta Slug. In 1998, the National Historical Institute officially settled the long-standing controversy over the site of the recorded first Mass of the Philippines on 31 of March 1521 between Limasawa, Southern Leyte, and Masao, Butuan City in Mindanao. The NHI declared that the Limasawa Island was the place where the first Catholic Mass happened in the Philippines. Antonio Pigafetta and Francisco Albo, both were survivors of the Magellan-Elcano expedition, stopped providing dates in their recordings of the first circumnavigation of the planet. After the burning, the Spanish ship Conception off the Sea of Bohol on May 2, 500 years ago.
Francisco Albo's Log. On the 16th of March 1521, as they sailed in the westerly course from Ladrones, they saw land towards the northwest, but owing to many shallow places, they did not approach it. They found later that its name was Yunagan. They went instead the same day southwards to another small island named Suluar, and there they anchored. There they saw some canoes, but these fled at the Spaniards' approach. This island was at 9 and 2/3 degrees north latitude.
Departing from those two islands, they sailed westward to an uninhabited island of Gada, where they took in a supply of food and water. The sea around that island was free from shallows. Albo does not give the latitude of this island, but from the Pigafetta's testimony, this seems to be Aquada or Homonhon at 10 degrees north latitude. From that island, they sailed westwards towards a large island named Silani that was inhabited and was known to have gold. For Silani, or as Pigafetta calls it Ceylon, was the island of Leyte. The people of that island of Mazaba were very good. There the Spaniards planted a cross upon a mountain top and southwest. Where they were told there was much gold, they showed us how the gold was gathered, which came in small pieces like peas and lentils.
Antonio Pigafetta's testimony. Saturday, 16 March 1521, Magellan's expedition sighted a highland named Zamal, which was some 300 leagues westward of Ladrones, now the Marinas Islands. Sunday, March 17. The following day, after sighting Zamal Island, they landed on another island which was uninhabited and which lay to the right of the above-mentioned island of Zamal. To the right here would mean under starboard, going south or southwest. There they set up 2 tents for the sick members of the crew and had a soul killed for them. The name of this island was Humuno or Humunhon. This island was located at 10° north latitude.
On that same day, Sunday, March 17, Magellan named that entire archipelago the island of St. Lazarus. The reason being that it was Sunday in the Lenten season when the Gospel assigned for the Mass in the liturgical office was the 11th chapter of St. John, which tells of the raising of Lazarus from the dead. Monday, March 18, in the afternoon of their second day on that island, they saw a boat coming towards them with 9 men in it. An exchange of gifts was effected. Magellan asked for food supplies, and the men went away, promising to bring rice and other supplies in 4 days.
There were 2 springs of water on the island of Homonhon. Also, they saw there some indications that there was gold in this island. Consequently, Magellan renamed the island and called it the water place of good omen, Aquada Lagi. Friday, March 22, at noon, the native returned. This time, they were in two boats, and they brought food supplies.
Magellan's expedition stayed 8 days at Homonhon from Sunday, March 17, to the Monday of the following week, March 25. Monday, March 25 in the afternoon, the expedition weighed anchor and left the island of Homonhon. In the ecclesiastical calendar, this day, March 25, was the feast day of the Incarnation, also called the Feast of the Annunciation and therefore Our Lady's Day.
On this day, as they were about to weigh anchor, an accident happened to Pigafetta. He fell into the water, but was rescued. He attributed his narrow escape from death as grace obtained through the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary on her feast day.
The route taken by expedition after leaving Homonhon was toward the west-southwest between four islands, namely Sinalo, Hiyunanghan, Ibuson, and Aberyen. Very probably, Sinalo is the misspelling in the Italian manuscript for what Pigafetta in his map calls Ceylon, and Albo calls Ceylani, namely the island of Leyte. Hiyunanghan seemed to Pigafetta to be separate island, but is actually on the mainland of Leyte.
Thus, it is easy to see what Pigafetta meant by sailing toward the west-southwest past those islands. They left Monhon sailing westward towards Leyte, then followed the Leyte coast southward, passing between the island of Hibuzon on their port side and Hiyunanghan Bay on their starboard, and then continued southward, then turning westward to Mazawa. Thursday, March 28, in the morning of Holy Thursday. March 28, they anchored off an island where the previous night they had seen a light or a bonfire. That island lies in a latitude of 9 and 2/3 towards the Arctic Pole, and in a longitude of 162 degrees from a line of demarcation. It is 25 leagues from the aqueduct and is called Mazua.
Sunday, March 31, early in the morning of Sunday, the last of March and Easter Day, Magellan sent the priest ashore with some men to prepare for the Mass. Later in the morning, Magellan landed with some 50 men and Mass was celebrated, after which a cross was venerated. Magellan and the Spaniards returned to the ship for the noonday meal, but in the afternoon they returned ashore to plant the cross on the summit of the highest hill. In attendance, both at the Mass and at the planting of the cross, were the King of Mazoa and the King of Butuan. Tuesday, April 2 and Wednesday, April 3, work on the harvest during the next 2 days. Tuesday and Wednesday, the 2nd and 3rd of April. Thursday, April 4, they leave Mazaum, bound for Cebu. Using the primary sources available, Jesuit priest Miguel A. Bernard in his work Butuan or Limasawa. The site of the first Mass in the Philippines, Re-examination of Evidence, 1981 lays down the argument that in the Pigafetta's account, a crucial aspect of Butuan was not mentioned the river. Butuan is a riverine settlement situated on the Agusan River. The beach of Masao is in the delta of said river. It is a curious omission in the account of the river, which makes part of a distinct characteristic of Butuan's geography that seemed to be too important to be missed. It must also be pointed out that later on, after Magellan's death, the survivors of his expedition went to Mindanao, and seemingly went to Butuan. In this instance, Pigafetta vividly describes a trip of a river. But note that this account already happened after Magellan's death. The end. And it is the end of our story. The First Mass in the Philippines by Francisco Albo and Antonio